Today's couple are longing to settle and start a new life in the countryside. We may have hit the ground running with our properties.
Wow.
Wow. I can just hear the wows coming in behind me.
And their model country pad could be right in front of their eyes.
This is everything that I could have imagined in a house. And the view from there is just breathtaking.
Today I'm in Herefordshire, and behind me is the church of St Mary and St David in the village of Kilpeck. Now, what makes it unique is that it looks almost identical now to how it did when it was built over 870 years ago. And a closer inspection reveals that it contains one of the finest collections of ancient Romanesque sculptures in all of England. It's a remarkable building in a truly remarkable county.
Often described as England's most rural county, landlocked Herefordshire sits on the border with Powys in Wales to its west and Shropshire to the north, Worcestershire to its east and Gloucestershire to the south. Herefordshire really is an unspoilt county. Rolling green countryside is an often used term. However, the saying could and should have been coined here. It is and always has been an agricultural county, famed for its apple orchards and Hereford cattle. For centuries, its rich natural environment has stood little changed, with picturesque towns and villages, black timbered houses dotting the landscape. At its heart sits Hereford, with its majestic cathedral dominating the skyline. Through the county flows the River Wye. It's one of the cleanest rivers in the UK. Thought of as one of the best for salmon fishing, and it's also a special area of conservation.
If you're thinking of escaping to the West Midlands, then you should seriously consider house hunting here in Herefordshire. Quite simply, there are some excellent homes that, broadly speaking, offer really good value for money. The average cost of a detached house here is £264,000, which compares to £278,000 across the rest of England and Wales. So it's a wonderful county with some lovely homes. I need a couple to show them to, so let's meet them.
Joe and Pete have been married for 31 years. They met in a bar in Hereford in 1979, when Joe was training to be a nurse and Pete was a new soldier.
I thought that he was something special then.
And I thought Joe was a wow. I still do. She keeps my feet very firmly on the ground. She keeps my aspirations attainable and achievable.
After 37 years, Army Officer Pete has just retired from international service, where he and Joe have moved house 19 times. Having returned to the UK for good and with their children grown up, now is the right time for them to move to the countryside.
My military career has involved me in postings in the UK, America, Germany, Saudi Arabia and lastly Italy, where we've been given a house that we haven't chosen. We've been told that will be our house.
Now I've got the choice of where we live. I think I'd like to go and live in the country. I just love the open air. I'm an outdoor fanatic. I love walking, cycling, running, being out in it.
With Pete now a home-based consultant, they're currently renting in Wiltshire whilst they search for the house of their dreams in Herefordshire, in which they spent the early part of their marriage and where their son was born.
We have existing family and friends there from our previous service there, and we've got some very, very happy memories as a family from there of following the tractors loaded with apples, driving around the country lanes. I particularly like Herefordshire for its greenness, its variety in terrain. It's a very rural county, and the pace of life.
To go back to Herefordshire for me now feels like going home.
Living for over 3 decades in a permanent state of transition, Joe can't wait to unpack the many boxes they've been hauling around the world with them.
Mostly the boxes actually contain the memories of the children as they've gone through the years. I look forward to actually finding a property that we can actually empty those boxes into and decide that they're actually not going to go any further.
And longing to finally settle into rural living, they're also hoping to cement new friendships that they can build upon into the future.
I'm very excited at the fact of actually putting some roots down and actually finding a community that we can actually then belong to, rather than feel that you're transiting through.
After so many years of living in army accommodation, Joe and Pete are keen to begin their search to find their quintessential English country abode.
The one thing that we're most looking forward to is finding the property that we've aspired to live in for 31 years of married life. We don't know what it looks like, but we're quite confident that when we see it, we'll know it's the one for us.
It would be so nice just to start afresh, and that's what we're really looking forward to, I think, isn't it? Both of us.
With Joe and Pete keen to rekindle their happy Herefordshire memories, they're fairly open to living anywhere in the county, as long as it's not too rural and has good motorway connections for Pete's consultancy business. I'm meeting up with them to pinpoint exactly what they're after in terms of what they want from their new home and new life in the UK countryside.
Hello, you two.
Hi.
Hello.
So how does it feel being back in Herefordshire?
Feels like being at home again, doesn't it?
It does, yes.
When did you last live here?
We last lived here in 2003. But we actually met in Herefordshire when we were much younger.
We've still got some family. We've got lots of friends, which is nice. We've been catching up with them again, like a Coke. Just put it back on and the friendship's still there.
So you've got good memories of the place, which is always a great way to start a search. Now, what about this house? What do you imagine it's going to look like when you pull up outside your dream home?
It's going to have that feel-good factor about it, I think. Something that we can make into a nice home for us for the future.
So what's on the wish list for it?
A study, because I work from home.
Yeah, I'd like an open-plan kitchen.
And what about the style of the property?
Bit of character.
Yes.
Could be new, could be old. A good-sized garden, like at least half an acre. We're quite keen to have some sheep, chickens, things like that.
Are there any no-nos? Is there anything that you really don't want me to show you?
We're open-minded. Yeah, I think the location is as important as the actual house, because you can change a house slightly. So we're flexible.
What about doing work on the property? Is that something you'd welcome?
That would have to be factored into the budget that we have, so we wouldn't go above that budget for the renovation. It'd have to be included into the price.
OK, let's talk about the budget. What are we working with?
£450,000. However, should we find a property with holiday let type potential, then we could go above that.
Maybe a holiday let would be a nice thing to get my teeth into.
Well, that's a healthy sum, particularly for this part of the country, and of course you're in the great position of being cash buyers. I've got some very interesting properties to show you. Should we go and look?
I can't wait.
Can't wait.
Joe and Pete are willing to stretch their maximum budget of up to £500,000 for the perfect property. They're after a 3-bedroom, detached, quirky character home, ideally with a large open-plan kitchen and a study. They're after a sizable garden with easy access to the heart of a community in a village setting. And they're also hoping for a property with holiday let potential. We've got some stunning properties lined up which hark back to the history of Herefordshire that Joe and Pete love. And it's not until the end of each house tour that I'll be asking them to guess the price of each. Our final stop is the Mystery House, providing an alternative option which may make them reconsider elements of their wish list. We're starting our search north of the county, in the hamlet of Luckton. Nearby is Yarpole, known for its thriving community, who, since 2005, have run the first full-time shop from a church in the UK. Donating to many local projects, this is the first shop of its kind to receive the Queen's Award for Voluntary Service. Also offering a pub, amateur dramatic society and book clubs, this centre would be ideal for Joe and Pete, and it's just a 5-minute drive to the property we're going to view.
Wow.
That's a good reaction.
Wow. Yes, that's fantastic.
Love the angled
Feature. That's a really good feature, isn't it?
The circular tower is because this was a grain store, so it's got all the character that you were after.
Definitely.
Well, one of the unusual things that this offers is upside-down living. So you've got your living space at the top and the bedrooms underneath. I know you've lived in lots of different houses. Have you ever tried that before?
We haven't, but Joe's sister has a house in France that does that. It's quite quirky.
It's nice because you often get the views from upstairs, don't you, that you don't get from down below.
Well, let's take a look. Because it's an upside-down house, we're going to have to go up the stairs to get into it.
Fantastic.
It is lovely, isn't it?
Yeah.
Dating back to the mid-17th century, this former bar made from local stone with a Welsh slate roof was originally a granary and grain store before it was converted in the 1900s.
Now, you said you were quite interested in seeing open-plan living. This is open-plan living.
We do quite like that whole one large room where a lot of life takes place.
Yeah. It's all got little areas as well, hasn't it? That you could actually all be in and doing different things, but you're not on top of one another.
I think the stairs just sort of give you that bit of segregation.
Yes.
What do you feel about the space in the kitchen, Jo?
There's not a terrific amount of workspace there. You could actually adapt it and have a big butcher's block or something like that.
Interesting thing about the range is it's an electric range.
Oh.
And I don't know if you were beady-eyed enough to notice the solar panels on the roof.
Yes, we did. We noticed those as we came through.
That actually helps to reduce their electricity bill by half.
Wow. That's interesting.
Now, I know that a home office is important to you. There's a couple of options. We've got the mezzanine up here, just above us, so you're sort of really in the heart of the living space. But I know you mentioned quirky, and there's quite a nice little quirky room that I'm going to show you.
Okay.
Let's go through into here.
So you're actually in the
actual grain store.
So you do have the option of the mezzanine office, but I wonder how this would work for you as an office, Pete.
It could work, but I think this would be a particularly nice snug where you've got this lovely, quirky, circular room. It could be a very pleasant area that you can withdraw to for a little bit of peace and quiet.
You'd enjoy that, and it would be a place to listen to music and things like that.
Now, I'm going to show you the master bedroom, and of course, because it's an upside-down house, I've got to go downstairs.
Okay.
Jo and Pete asked for 3 bedrooms, and there's one extra here, which could prove to be useful for visiting friends and family. On the ground floor, there are 2 double bedrooms, 1 single, a bathroom, and a utility room.
So here we have the master
Wow.
bedroom. How do you feel about the size of the bedroom?
We're not desperate for a huge, massive room at all. It works, doesn't it?
I love the doors.
Yeah, there's a lot of original features in the house, which gives it that unusual, quirky quality that I know you were looking for.
Yes.
You've also got something a bit more modern in there. You've got a little ensuite, which is very handy.
Oh, that's lovely, isn't it?
That's perfect, yeah.
Again, that mixture of modern and old looks very good.
There are already chickens in the garden.
Oh.
I just don't know if you're going to be able to squeeze any sheep in.
Right.
But I'll see what you both think.
Okay.
So far, Jo and Pete have warmed to this property and can picture themselves potentially living here. But I wonder what they'll make of the cottage-style garden.
Nice chickens.
Yeah, they are. This is it. This is the garden. What you see is what you get.
It is smaller than what perhaps I was initially thinking about, but it's got lots of other lovely features about it.
There's that little nice snuggy area for having a glass of wine.
Yes.
And the owners were telling me that just up there on the top of the steps where you go into the house is their evening glass of wine spot because it gets the sunset and it gets the sun. So they sit there, they have a glass of wine, they unwind. Right, come on, let's guess the price. Ladies first.
Well, I think because it hasn't actually got the land that we're looking for, I think it's going to be below 400,000. I think it's going to be about 385.
I'd go for 375.
It is on the market for less than budget. Not quite as low as the two of you were saying, though. It's on the market for £395,000. It would leave you actually with quite a healthy amount left over. Does that change your thoughts on the house at all?
It's reassuring to know that if we wanted to do some work to it, that you have the funding in our budget to do that.
It's sounding really positive to me, but why don't you two go back inside, explore the rooms that you haven't seen, take a look around.
Okay.
And I'll catch up with you in a little
thank you
while.
very much.
Okay.
Thank you.
A sizable £105,000 under budget, this former grain store barn offers up 4 bedrooms, large sociable open-plan living area, and a prime central village location within the heart of the community, which Jo and Pete were longing for.
Walking into the open plan space, my immediate thought was yet again, wow, it has that coziness that we're looking for with the characterfulness of the beams.
There was a definite wow factor when you look at the property from the first time, I think. It's got lots of potential for us to put our mark on the property.
From my perspective, the garden isn't a non-starter. However, it's the distance that I will have to travel down to get to the motorways is a compromise that I'd have to think about.
For me personally, the garden is the stumbling block. I'd like to see something with a bigger garden.
So we went in the upstairs, and you're coming out in the downstairs door. I think there's a television programme in that personally.
You're probably right, yes.
Yes.
Interesting property.
Very
But
interesting.
there's more to see, so come on.
Okay.
Mention the county of Herefordshire, and most people think of the illustrious Hereford breed of cattle. And whilst the county continues to farm the breed to which it gave its name, there is now another notable, if diminutive, animal in residence. Just outside Leominster are 17 of the smallest sheep in the world. Wesson sheep are small in stature, but big in character. Hoping to have enough land to keep a few sheep, Pete and Joe are meeting Carolyn Southern, who has been breeding these little gems for 13 years.
Hi, Pete, Joe. Welcome to the small holding.
So, Caroline, how big did this breed actually grow?
Well, the breed standard is 48 centimetres for an adult ram and 45 centimetres for an adult ewe.
So they've stayed quite small then?
Yes, they're very tiny.
So if we were to have 3 sheep, Caroline, what size plot would you recommend that we would have?
Ideally, I would say about half an acre. About 10 animals to the acre is the maximum.
And in winter, do you have to provide them with shelter or do they stay outside?
They will stay outside generally. They're really hardy, but if it's really heavy rain, they'll want to just run in. They also need the shelter to get out of the strong sun as well.
So would they be a breed that you would actually recommend as a first-time
Yes, well,
sheep
I'd never
owners?
had sheep before I had these, and once I looked into it, they just seemed ideal. They're very easy to keep. I've got some more stock over here. I'll show you those.
OK.
Thank you.
Wesson sheep were to be found solely on the French Isle of Wesson until the start of the 20th century, when they were saved from extinction by a group of aristocrats who brought them over to mainland France. Having only arrived on British shores around 15 years ago, today there are thought to be around 2,000 in the UK.
These are this year's lambs.
So what are we feeding them here today then, Caroline?
This is actually a bit like muesli. It's called ruminant mix, and it's a mixture of grains.
And what else do they eat then, other than that?
Primarily they'll eat the grass, but they do also eat the hedges and the bark off the trees and any low branches on the trees. In the winter, if the grass is very sparse, you can give them hay as well.
OK. Are there any legal requirements we have to have or be aware of if we were to buy sheep?
I recommend that you only buy your animals from a registered breeder. You need to have a holding number, which DEFRA will provide you with. We are going to move some sheep today, so if you want to give us a hand doing that, that'd be fabulous.
Great.
We'd love
Lovely.
to. They're so friendly, it's gorgeous. Aren't you? Ooh.
Surprisingly low maintenance, these sheep are shorn once a year and have the most wool per weight of any breed.
Come on, sheep!
Here they come, here they come.
Here they go, here they
Here
go.
they come.
By splitting a plot of land and rotating them every 6 to 8 weeks, it not only rests the ground, but keeps the sheep healthy.
Have you got any tips for what we should be doing and how we should help you with doing this?
Well, they're difficult to catch unless you do pen them first. And then what we've done is we've put a race of hurdles in to sort of channel them down into the next field.
They're off.
They're off, aren't they?
They know where they're going, don't they, Caroline?
Yeah,
Move really fast, don't they?
they can run really fast, yeah.
They're off in the holes now.
With 3 registered breeders in Herefordshire, it looks like Joe and Pete will be flocking to buy some of these little beauties before too long.
Oh, yeah, I've fallen in love with them already.
I hope you decide to keep this breed because they're very special.
OK, well, thanks for showing us your sheep, Caroline. It's been absolutely fascinating.
You're very welcome.
Yeah, thank you very much. We've thoroughly enjoyed the experience. It's been great.
It's the second day of our property search in Herefordshire with Joe and Pete, who have just returned to the UK from international army service. With a budget of up to £500,000, they're ready to begin the next chapter of their lives in the countryside they know and love. Coming up, our house hunt offers more history than they could have hoped for.
That is absolutely stunning. I just love the height. Colours are very enchanting.
And I find out how traditional Herefordshire is keeping up with modern-day tastes.
Oh, it's a lovely, mellow, fruity flavour that's very smooth. It's a new day and there are 2 new properties to show them, including the Mystery House, which could make them reassess exactly what it is they're looking for. Let's find out just how open-minded Pete and Joe are prepared to be.
But before the mystery property, our search is taking us to the village of Bishop's Froom. Located on the border where Herefordshire meets Worcestershire, this idyllic and very active village has a community-run shop with 2 pubs. Half a mile away is the Hot Pocket shopping village, spread over a number of old agricultural buildings, which offers a cafe, wine centre and butchers with fine local produce. Just outside the village, our next property can be found down a quiet country lane.
Wow. I'm back to Wales again now.
You are back to Wales, I like that.
That looks impressive.
That's stunning. That is actually very stunning.
From the first impression, it looks good. It looks like it blends in very well. It makes you want to actually go in and view it.
Exciting.
Let's go and investigate.
Oh, great.
Great.
Can't wait.
Built in 1650, this former barn of traditional oak timber frame construction originally belonged to the house next door until it was converted in the 1980s. And 2 years ago, an annex was added to the rear. The front door leads to a hallway and the main sitting room, but because there's so much of this house to see, we're heading straight through it to the kitchen.
Double wow.
Wow.
This is stunning. Absolutely
so
stunning.
nice to see you two smiling like this. This is obviously the older part of the house.
It's got the beams that you wanted, doesn't it?
Yeah. So there's lots of character here. I've got the warm, cosy, homely feeling that we had in the upside down house yesterday, but there's space around.
It's interesting for me because you really did like open plan. And this technically isn't open plan, but it's appealing to you.
Yeah.
It flows very naturally, and actually, whilst there is only doorways, not huge open plan, I think it adopts a more modern feel to open plan.
What's welcome is the utility room just over there, so you can keep
that would be
all your
very-
stuff in there out the way.
Good.
Very useful.
And I don't know how keen your ears were when we were outside looking at the property. Did you hear the tinkling?
I
The little
did.
studio.
I did hear that.
Let me just give you a glass of that, just to try. You can have one each. There you go. You've got your very own stream. Well, it's a spring, and the water for the property is fed from the spring, so you don't pay any water rates on this property. So cheers to that.
Cheers to that.
Cheers, yeah.
Apparently it tastes very good. I haven't tried it yet. It's nice, isn't it?
John
Really
loves
nice.
water. That's free.
Do you?
Very, very clean and fresh.
So yeah, the spring is up right at the top of the garden.
Gosh, that's amazing too, isn't it?
I'd like you to take a closer look at the dining hall because that's really interesting.
Okay.
Also on the ground floor, there's a double bedroom with ensuite, and in the eaves of the dining hall, there's a mezzanine, both of which could provide great office space for Pete.
Oh, that's good.
Oh, wow. I mean, that is absolutely stunning. I think we can add a couple more wows into here.
Yeah, I was going to say your wow quotas. It's building for this property.
I mean, I just love the height.
Isn't that fantastic?
Absolutely stunning. Just absolutely stunning.
What a feature, though, this bit is.
You get the sense that this was, of course, a beautiful barn. You've got the old beams in here. You really get the feeling of what it once was back in the day, don't you?
Yes, you do.
Can you imagine the family in here at Christmas?
I could. Oh,
when
yeah.
the table lit?
Can you imagine a Christmas tree in here, full height Christmas tree.
Well, let's just talk then about the annex. The doorway here leads through to the modern part. Would you like to have a look?
Certainly.
Let's go.
The self-contained annex space here is the real selling point of this property. Completed to a very high spec, with its own double bedroom and shower room, it meets all modern eco requirements and is just what our buyers are after.
Wow.
Oh, goodness.
What goodness.
The wows, I can just hear the wows coming in behind me.
My breath is taken
Amazing.
away. Absolutely taken away.
How different it is, though.
What a complete contrast. You've gone from the 17th century to the 21st century.
Everything's ready for a kitchen to go in across here. They haven't put one
Right.
in, but it's got water, it's got all the points that you need, it's even got the extractor fan. So you might notice it's very lovely and cosy in here from the underfloor heating. And it's free in this house because it's got a state-of-the-art wood pellet boiler. So that combined with the solar panels means that this house has a zero carbon footprint. There is no gas bill, there is no electricity bill. And you actually make money on the property.
You're just ticking every box. Absolutely.
This is something that Pete was looking at when we were very first started looking at houses, saying, I want an eco-friendly house.
I'm just blown away. This is everything that I could have imagined in a house. And the view from there, those trees just changing colours, just absolutely
breathtaking.
There's the prospect of closing off that area and having this as a holiday let. Does that appeal to you?
It's certainly...
It does actually, because I think it would work. I think you could do it.
And there's still so much more to show you because we have to go back into the old part so I can show you the master bedroom.
Aside from the 2 bedrooms downstairs, on the first floor there's a bathroom and 2 further bedrooms, a single and the master.
So this is the master bedroom.
You get fantastic views across the Frums Hill. Stunning.
You've actually got the size of the room without the beams taking away that from you.
Breathtaking.
It's quite exciting as well because I still get to show you the outside.
Yes.
And there are some really good things to tell you when we get out there.
Excellent.
Jo and Peter obviously wowed by the property, and with the rear garden set in just over an acre, plus an extra paddock of 1/3 of an acre, I suspect that the outside space here might just be the icing on the cake.
So up here, this is where your sheep can live. And the really hard work in the garden has been done, all the real legwork.
Yes.
What it needs now is just that work of landscaping.
Personalisation.
Is it too big for you?
No.
No.
It's that time for you to guess the price.
Because it's in the east of Herefordshire, it's got good communication links, I'm going to say 575.
Because I think it's a lovely house, I do think it's going to be over our budget. I'm going to go for 525.
You will probably be very pleased when I tell you that it's on the market for offers over £500,000. However, I've had a conversation with the owners and they've made it clear to me that they would accept an offer of under £500,000, only just from buyers in your position.
Oh.
That is amazing. That is utterly amazing. What a sign.
Really?
Seriously.
Well, I'd like you to go back inside and really look around the property. I know it's got a lot to offer and there's a lot you haven't seen. So take your time, explore, and I'll come and find you.
OK, thank you very much.
OK.
Thank you.
At the top of their budget, this former barn with an eclectic mix of original character features and modern eco-specifications meets all of Jo and Pete's wish list and more. Having an almost ready-to-go holiday let opportunity, it's set in an ideal village location and has fantastic views.
This property ticks every single box that we could think of.
It's the right location, it's got the views and the opportunity to develop the garden. I'm feeling really excited because I think there's an opportunity for me here, definitely, to do a holiday let. I can see myself here at home and also entertaining the family here.
This is just absolutely amazing. It's everything we want in a house. It's a combination of old, new.
I'm going to interrupt you. I know you love this house, but there is still one more to go, and it's the mystery house. Come on.
Very excited.
What about the mystery house? What do you think I'm going to show you there?
I think you're going to go something quirky new today, because I think that just is totally opposite to what we've put out in our brief, really, I think.
I think it's going to be a chapel conversion or something like that. Yes.
My lips are sealed, of course, at this point. All will be revealed.
For our mystery property, we're heading to the small village of Wormlow Tump. South of Herefordshire, the Tump itself was a mound, which local tradition claims was the burial place of King Arthur's son. Having been flattened to widen the road in 1896, there's a local garage and a pub here. With the greater amenities of Hereford nearby, it's just a short drive to our next property, which is blessed with a stunning setting.
It's not so much a mystery house as a mystery mansion.
Wow.
Goodness.
It is stunning, isn't it?
It's been bought by developers and it's being turned into 12 extremely high-end luxury apartments and 2 houses. I know you've lived in properties all over the world, different kinds of properties.
Never a stately home.
Have you ever come across a stately home in your travels before?
No, we haven't.
No.
A few officers' messes like stately homes,
Yes,
but never actually lived in one.
No.
It's communal living. It's very different. I know that you had these ideas about the lifestyle you were going to have here in Herefordshire, and I just thought, well, why not challenge that?
Yes.
It's very beautiful.
Yes.
You have a view.
Yes. Fantastic views.
And it's a different thing to consider.
It is. It is.
I quite agree.
It is in the scheme of things. It is something that we should consider because it's one avenue.
It challenges our thoughts.
Yeah.
We would probably never have looked at something like this.
I guess not somehow. But it's inside this house that you really, get the feeling for how stunning it is. So I think we should go in and take a look.
Certainly.
This Victorian Gothic manor house was constructed in the 1860s by Sir James Rankin, whose family made their money through timber and shipbuilding. Steeped in history, it also spent former years as a factory and prisoner of war hospital during the Second World War.
So I just thought I'd bring you into the entrance hall.
Yeah. Look at the chandeliers up there.
I mean, it's Gothic architecture at its finest.
Look at the fireplace.
It's beautiful. How does this style appeal to you?
It's a different period of architecture, but it has that immenseness of it that I'm not overawed by. I'm actually drawn into it. I think it's stunning.
So how do you think it would be welcoming your friends and your family into this entrance hall?
Well, you could just imagine walking through there through that huge Gothic door and saying, please come into our house, coming through, walking up those stairs, so that it just blows people's minds, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, luckily, the apartment that we're going to show you, the show apartment, is on the first floor. It's the only one that's ready at the moment. And it's fantastic because we get to take advantage of going up that lovely staircase.
The show home here mirrors the style and layout of the apartment Joe and Pete would be able to buy.
So, come on in.
Oh, very, very clean. Oh, goodness me.
High ceilings. Yeah.
So you've got the beautiful original features,
Yes.
those lovely tall
windows,
windows, the original
gorgeous.
doors, but then you have the modern touches as well that I know appeal to you both.
The height, the spaciousness and the clean, uncluttered lines. It's when the doors are absolutely stunning, aren't they?
I really wanted to challenge your
Yes.
perceptions of what your journey could be like, of what your escape to the country could be for you.
You're impressing us. You're making our decision hard.
Well, I might be about to make that decision harder because, Joe, I know the kitchen really matters to you, and I know you're going to like this kitchen.
Oh, okay.
There we go.
Wow. That's a really good open kitchen, isn't it?
It's a lovely space, isn't it?
Yes.
And it's the ceiling heights.
Yes.
The door heights are half the height of the room. Yeah. And look at the view out of the kitchen. Sheep.
Yeah, we could watch sheep even if we couldn't have our own, couldn't we?
Is it too modern for you? Do you think it complements the property?
I think it does, yes. It's that new and old again.
Could you imagine, a family get together and a meal in
Lots
here?
of working space, lots of good working space.
I'd really like to show you the master bedroom and its view.
With 2 double bedrooms, a second bathroom, and an office on offer in this spacious single-level apartment, it's the aspect from the master that's hard to beat.
Oh, yes.
Wow.
Yes. Yeah, that's
What a
nice
view
to
from a
wake up
bedroom.
to, isn't it? It's a
really
lovely
is.
sized bedroom.
You've got a beautifully finished ensuite bathroom. Do you think you'd have a good night's sleep in a room like
I
this?
think so, yes. You'd almost want to wake up early to see the view.
Yeah.
But again, it's those stunning high windows. It's letting so much light into the room.
But can you both imagine living here?
I could.
I'm not so sure. I know we're not getting any younger, but I'm not quite ready for this. 10 years down the line, I think it would be fantastic. I've still got that little bit inside me that wants to try and make my garden and make my home.
I am still keen to show you the gardens because, as you can imagine, they're as stunning as the house.
The immaculate communal gardens elegantly sweep around the mansion, and along with the upkeep of the main building, have maintenance charges of £2,000 a year.
So these will form part of the communal gardens and you'll have a veggie plot to grow your own vegetables in.
It's a fantastic place. Scenery and setting, but not just yet.
I could imagine myself here, but maybe not at this time in my life.
Well, let's price the show property that I've shown you. It's a 2-bedroom property. It's got generous living space. It's got access to the communal gardens. Who wants to go first?
I'll say budget, 450,000.
I'm going to say more. I'm going to say 475.
OK, that's quite interesting. The two of you are way off the mark, actually, completely, because it's massively under your budget at £359,000.
Wow, that sort of price, that's good value, I think.
I'm impressed at the price.
Yes, I am.
Yes.
That's a good price.
Go and have a poke around and have a look, because it's a really interesting place to explore. So just, go on,
Okay.
I'll go and
Thank you
catch
very
up
much.
with you.
Thank you.
At £141,000 under budget, this Gothic-style apartment with uninterrupted stunning views offers an alternative, modern and characterful home in the style that Joe and Pete are fond of.
It's a very impressive structure. As you look at the building, it takes your breath away.
Oh, it's another nice size room, isn't it? Good size for a spare room, a lovely
The
views.
heights, the view,
Yeah.
stunning.
I don't think it's really wowing me as a house.
I am tempted by this. This is low-maintenance living where we could come in and do very little.
Yeah, it's been a great opportunity to see a different style of living.
Something very, very different.
But unfortunately,
Not for us.
I'm not ready for it yet. The mystery apartment, it has got some nice features about it, but I can't see it becoming a home.
I think we challenged you with this property. I just don't know if we challenged you at the right point in your lives.
I think you're correct.
I think so too.
But I do think we have a lot of talking to do, so let's go and get a cup of tea.
Yeah, I think so.
With its agricultural heritage, it'll come as no surprise that Herefordshire is full of farms, yielding a wide range of wonderful and sometimes exotic produce. Having bought a cider-making farm in 2007, and with the need to broaden the spectrum of his produce, William Chase decided to make a slightly less traditional product from potatoes. I'm meeting his son and third-generation potato farmer James Chase to get more of a flavour on what's become of your average spud.
Hi, James.
Hey, how you doing?
So what about the potatoes? Where do they come in?
All of our vodkas are distilled from potatoes, and that award-winning vodka has gone on to be supplied into about 32 countries around the world.
Don't tell me you send it to Russia, because I will love it if you do.
Well, it's really funny you say that. 2 weeks ago, we signed our first distribution agreement to Russia, so now the English are selling vodka back to the Russians.
You've diversified, I hear, as well. As that, you're now using sort of fruit for making different kinds of vodkas.
About 4 years ago, we released a marmalade-flavoured vodka.
I'd love to see how marmalade vodka's made. That sounds fascinating.
Well, why don't you head on up the path, go and meet our master distiller, Jamie.
Fantastic. Hopefully I'll get to try some too.
See you later.
Bye.
The potatoes are grown on the farm here before they're peeled, mashed, fermented and distilled to form vodka in a process that takes 10 days. Using the finest oranges from Seville, the farm extracts the most intense flavour from the top of the oranges, where the fruit has absorbed the greatest sunshine. The essential oils released are used to form the basis of a thick cut and juicy marmalade, which is redistilled with their potato vodka.
Hi, Jamie. That looks intriguing.
Oh, hi, Ginny.
So what have we got going on in here, then?
Once we've made the vodka, we then move it into a vacuum chamber where we heat it up under pressure with the addition of real marmalade and some Seville orange peel. A little bit of colour from these kibbles or peels will then macerate out into the finished product.
OK.
So shall we do that now?
Let's do it, absolutely.
Yeah, we just need a piece to hang it down into the liquid.
How long does it have to be in there for?
Well, it depends on the time of year. When it's nice and warm in the summer, it happens quite quickly. So anywhere up to 48 hours. But in the winter, it can be as long as 72 hours.
OK, and you're just tasting all
We're
the time,
tasting
are
it.
you?
Every 3 hours we taste it.
Lovely.
So all we do is suspend it in here.
That smell is amazing. This smells really fruity. It's like being in an orchard.
So what we're trying to create here is layer and layer of natural flavour, so it sort of stays with you on the palate. Makes you feel like you've had marmalade on toast. We've got some over here if you want to go and try some.
You twisted my arm. Go on,
Okay,
then.
follow me then.
Passed through a filter before it's ready to drink, 1,000 bottles of marmalade vodka are being produced today. Due to its popularity, the farm are now diversifying their products, infusing vodka with blackcurrants and rhubarb.
Well, I don't know much about the art of distillery, but I'm guessing that this is everybody's favourite part of the process.
It certainly is. Everybody likes to taste.
OK.
First of all, have a really good smell.
Oh, it's a lovely, mellow, fruity flavour. There's none of that harsh hit that almost makes your eyes water. Let's try this. Wow, it's very smooth. I'm getting a lovely kick of sweetness, actually, that's just starting to come through. I would love to stay here and work my way through a whole range of them. But sadly, and it breaks my heart to say this, I've got to go.
Okay.
Thank you.
No problem. Thank you very much.
Well, Pete and Joe have seen all the properties we had to offer, and it's obvious, isn't it? There's a clear favourite. What I need to find out now is what they're going to do about it. Well, Pete and Joe, I think it was apparent that there was one house that got quite a lot of wows over our search.
Yes.
Definitely.
What was it about that sort of 17th century house with a modern annex that really appealed to you both?
It was that mix of old and new. It ticked every box that we had for a property, and actually ticked even more that we hadn't asked you to find, the eco side of it, etc., etc. It just left us overawed.
So there were things that you hadn't mentioned to us that actually you found in that property.
That's right, yes. We've discussed beforehand about having an eco-friendly house, and that was something Pete was looking for, and so he was really, really pleased to have seen that today.
It also seemed to offer you the potential for the lifestyle that you want to lead when you move here to Herefordshire.
Yes. It's good access through Ledbury to the M50. I can get a train to Londonshire, have to through Ledbury train station. It then has easy access to friends and family who are in that area of Herefordshire, and it ticks all the property bits.
The village aspect of it seems very nice too. The location is fantastic. And it's going to be a challenge for me to develop the potential of the garden and our house as a holiday let.
There was a little sense that I got, though, as we were looking round, that you were definitely enthused by the house. I felt a bit more reticence from you. Is that fair to say?
Probably, because I'm always the one that has to be slightly swayed by Pete in decisions, I think. I think things through perhaps more, but eventually, if it's the right decision, I'm quite happy with it.
Well, then I've got to ask, what are you going to do about it?
We'll definitely be going for a second viewing with our children, and then we'll be putting an offer in.
That's great news. I'm not surprised, but I'm thrilled to hear it. And I do hope that we've managed to find you the home that you were looking for.
I think you have.
You have, yeah. I'm sure you'll be very, very happy then.
Yeah, you've done a fantastic job for us, and we're very, very grateful.
Yeah, thank you very much.
I'm so thrilled to hear you both say that, and I'm so excited that this move back to the UK after your travels around the world has such a potentially happy ending.
Yeah.
Well,
And we
thank you
can't
very
wait
much.
to start.
We can't wait to start.
I'm delighted that Pete and Joe have decided to take their family back for a second viewing of that fabulous 17th century property with the modern annex. Let's face it, it's got their name written all over it. If I was a betting woman, my money would be on them calling it home before too long. I've got my fingers crossed for them. I'll see you next time.
After a second viewing of the barn conversion, Joe and Pete decided that the older part of the house required just a bit too much work for them. On the plus side, they've since found and fallen in love with a cottage in Herefordshire, and having put in an offer which was accepted, they're due to exchange shortly. If you'd like to escape to the country in England, Scotland, Wales or Northern Ireland and would like our help, you can apply online at bbc.co.uk/beonashow.
you.